Well, hello. Welcome to the Greenwich Village Folk Festival. I'm Ron Olesko, and I'll be one of the MCs for tonight's live event. And joining me will be my good friend and folk DJ Hall of Famer, Wanda Fisher. She's the host of Hudson River Sampler, which you could hear on WAMC in Albany, New York. It's heard in 7 states here in the Northeast, as well as streaming on the internet and archived. Wanda recently celebrated her 40th anniversary on the air, and we're very excited that tonight she's making her Greenwich Village Folk Festival debut. I'm also really excited about tonight's lineup. We have some returning artists that many of you have requested, and some artists that are new to this series that I am sure you're going to enjoy. Tonight, we'll be hearing from Shanna In A Dress, Walt Michael, James Keelaghan, Natalia Zukerman, Dan Navarro, Joe Crookston, Cosy Sheridan, Professor Louie, and unfortunately, 2 of the artists that were previously announced have been unable to join us tonight, Malcolm Holcomb and Brook Batteau, but we hope to reschedule them for a future edition. But tonight, their spots are going to be filled by Robin's brother, Brook Batteau, and returning to the festival, the one and only Christine Lavin. The Greenwich Village Folk Festival is a 501c3 organization. It was founded back in 1987 to honor the music and legacy of the village. Now, the founding producers were Rod MacDonald, Ray Mysick, Jay Rosen, and Jerry Hinson. And the festival held annual concerts in person from 1987 through 94. And in 2020, during the pandemic, they began these monthly concerts, which continue on the first Sunday of each month. Now, these concerts are free. It's a gift to the community, but donations are welcomed and encouraged and shared with performers. So if you can, take a look in your chat column. If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, you'll see links. And you can also go to greenwichvillagefolkfestival.org to donate. Now, let's get started. Greenwich Village Folk Festival alumni Tom Prasado Rao has called our first artist of the evening Kerrville's fastest rising star after he watched her astound the crowd at the Kerrville Folk Festival. Shanna began her career while she was at the University of Virginia. She then fell in love with Boulder, Colorado, spent some time there, and now she lives in Nashville. And in between, she's performed on stages across the US and Europe. She also bicycled from Seattle to Boston while on her music touring epic Tour de Dress back in 2021. Shanna's performing and songwriting skills have been honored with a number of awards and recognitions. Recently, she won the Rocky Mountain Folks Fest Songwriting Contest. Next year, she'll be performing with a full band at that fest. Shanna was also a winner in the Kerrville New Folk Competition, the Great River Folk Fest Song Competition. She was a finalist at Songwriter Serenade, a Grassy Hill Emerging Artist at Falcon Ridge Folk Festival. And we're so happy she'd be with us tonight. So let's get this party started with Shanna In A Dress.
Hello. Wow. I feel like that was a big intro to live up to, and I'm just about to sing a song about like an embarrassing moment with a dude. So don't judge all those songwriting contest award winners off of this one. Thanks for having me, Ron. I always like seeing your smiling face, and let's get this show on the road. This song's called Get Over It. You invited me over in the middle of October to your private little mountain house. I didn't really want to go, but it had been a while and I needed to get out. Then you sang your songs too loud, eyes closed for 2 hours straight, while I picked at my fingernails, then told you you were great. Oh, I don't think you cared who I was at all, but I held a kind mirror and you liked what you saw. You don't care how I feel, but you're not a big deal. And I'm wasting my time. You think I bow to your kind, but your head's way bigger than your heart, you hypocrite. So get over it. The next part is embarrassing and also very true. Then I gave you a foot rub, it was a good one, just because I'm nice. Thinking you'd say thank you, that felt so good, you really made my night. But before I could leave, you said stay put, you still gotta rub my other foot. He actually said that. You don't care how I feel, but you're not a big deal. And I'm wasting my time. You think I bow to your kind, but your head's way bigger than your heart, you hypocrite. So get over it. Oh, I'm so unattracted to your ego. So why don't we go outside? I'll kiss you goodbye, the metaphorical kind. 'Cause you don't care how I feel, but you're not a big deal, no. And I'm wasting my time. You think I bow to your kind, but your head's way bigger than your heart, you hypocrite. I said your head's way bigger than your heart, which is bigger than your... So get over it. 'Cause I'm over it.
And you dumped him.
What?
Was that a question or a statement? I missed it.
I said, I'm glad you dumped him.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, I've had so many of my friends be like, who's that song about? Who's that song about? And I feel all self-righteous being like, my lips are sealed. I won't tell you. Unless you try to hang out with him, then I'll be like, warning, warning. So let's see. Next up, I'm going to play this one, which is really special to me. Last summer, I asked every single audience on the Tour de Dress bicycle music adventure what song I played resonated with them the most. And this song was the overwhelming agreement. And it was inspired by a woman named Shelli that I took care of back when I lived in Boulder, who was paralyzed from the chest down in a bad car accident when she was 17. And it took me forever to write this song, but this is how it ended up coming out. Mascara lashes, get every last bit out of the tube. Blow her hair dry, it's so thick it takes forever to do. Fasten her wrist braces, medications on her tongue. Living in a chair makes morning care extra long. And I'd ask her, are you ready? Are you ready to go? Are you ready, Shelli? Are you ready to go? And she says, look down at your fingers. There's something I want you to remember. You got one to catch a ride to San Francisco, one to point when you're dancing the disco, one to lift when you get cut off, and one reserved for the one you love. And to reach the tiniest notes on guitar. She said, I can't use my fingers anymore, but thank you for lending me yours. I arrive and Shelli has a cold. I push her stomach down to help her cough. In the middle of the night when she gets warm, I tiptoe into her room, pull her blanket off. She'd say an unscratched itch is worse than pain. Try it yourself, see what you think. Shelli had a really itchy nose. And I look down at my fingers and do my best to remember. I got one to catch a ride to San Francisco, one to point when I'm dancing that disco, one to lift when I get cut off, and one reserved for the one I love, and one to reach the tiniest notes on guitar. She said, I can't use my fingers anymore, but thank you for lending me yours. Last night I got a call, 12 a.m. I learned that Shelli's on the other side, dancing and running her fingers through the sand. Oh, I've had a lot of jobs, but the one that changed me most was being Shelli's hands. She was ready to go. She was ready to go. Thank you. I'm hoping to release that song next year in a mega musical release that my Shanna's with me on Patreon are helping me design a pretty cool event for the whole year. I'm gonna close it out on this song. It's new, and I wrote it with Steve Seskin, who is fantastic, and this song always cheers me up when I think that when I think my problems matter. I'm in the middle of a nervous breakdown. Don't worry, it's nothing serious. It's happening every day now. Beaten down by my to-do list. But enough of this pity party problems. Yeah, I got a plate full, but I freaking chose this path. So who am I to be ungrateful? Every day of this life is a gift. Rip it open. That song in your heart, let it live. Let no words of love go unspoken. You can keep your dreams wrapped up like they're for later. Peek inside the box, careful not to tear the paper. Here's hoping you rip it open. I was talking to my best friend Colin. His brother just got diagnosed. He's always kind of been a workaholic. They're giving him 6 months at most. And now he's noticing the golden colors of the sky at dawn. Book that trip to Costa Rica. Hope he gets to go before he's gone. Every day of his life is a gift. Rip it open. That song in your heart, let it live. Let no words of love go unspoken. You can keep your dreams wrapped up like they're for later. Peek inside the box, careful not to tear the paper. Here's hoping you rip it open. Rip it open. Every day of this life is a gift. Every day of this life is a gift. Rip it open. Rip it open. Rip it open.
Very nice, Shanna. And that's Shanna who's in Montana right now. So that
right.
rhymes a little bit. Shanna in Montana. And I'm Wanda Fisher. And the next act is Walt Michael. And I have known Walt for very many years. And there's so much I could say about Walt. One of the premier hammer dulcimer players in the country, and somebody who's known for this, but he's also known for a lot of other things. Somebody who collects traditional music, someone who plays it, but also writes his own things. And he is the founder and executive director of Common Ground on the Hill. And he's the artist in residence at McDaniel College in Westminster, Maryland. He is someone whose vinyl recordings I have, and they are absolutely outstanding, with Michael McCreashan Campbell and Walt Michael and Company, and span several decades. And he introduced me to a lot of incredible music when I only had a turntable. Remember turntables? Now people are going back to vinyl. And he is considered one of the virtuosos of the hammer dulcimer, but he also plays the guitar, the auto harp, and many other instruments, collecting Appalachian music and other traditional style music. And he's a very good friend of mine. I hope you'll join me in welcoming Walt Michael.
Wow, is it great to see you, Wanda. Wow, it's a wonderful surprise. And thinking back, how many of you have t-shirts that fit medium size? So many years ago, I had all these medium festival t-shirts. And then they grew to large, and now, frankly, I'm giving XL a run. But here's what you can do with those t-shirts. Look at this. Make a quilt out of your festival t-shirts, as my daughter did for me, and relive all those wonderful, wonderful years. It really is a wonderful thing. I have like a couple hundred festival t-shirts, and this is a great way to remember what it was like back in the vinyl days. I'm going to play some hammer dulcimer, just as sort of I'll be like a relief hitter. And by the way, I'm a Washington Senators fan. We had a conversation beforehand about baseball. And, if you think you've got a tough time being a Boston fan, try the Senators. They don't exist anymore. But we lost one of our great musicians this week, Pete Sutherland. Pete, unique, a unique musician, a great tradition bearer, a great songwriter, and also a great teacher. He did a lot of work in his later years with children, teaching children to play and keeping his community strong. This is a tune, excuse me, that I learned from the playing of the Shetland Fiddlers. It's called Slokit Light, written by Tom Anderson. And Tom was a wonderful fiddler, and even more so, he was a great teacher. And what he did was, after he retired from the insurance industry, he made a full-time effort in teaching the children of Shetland to play the fiddle, because that tradition was going away. And my band went to the Shetland Folk Festival, which I highly recommend. If you want to have a great time in a land with no trees and lots of water, go to the Shetland Folk Festival. They are the most musical people I've ever encountered. And we played this tune. We didn't realize that it was so well known. Tom Anderson had died about a year before we arrived there. And when we played this tune, the entire audience, it was a large crowd, stood. And that was the point at which I realized just how deep traditional music is, what a role it can play. So we listened to these old melodies. It ended up, we ended up meeting the young children, and we did the Tom Anderson Dream Tour, bringing the Shetland's Young Heritage Fiddlers to the United States. But anyway, we'll do this for Pete Sutherland, and also for any of you who have lost friends during these times. I know we all have. Just like a light. For Pete Sutherland. Well, I forgot to mention that Tom Anderson wrote that tune for his wife when she passed. Das Slokit light, the light which is going out. So, gosh, the hammer dulcimer. How many times have I wished that I took up the penny whistle instead? And especially if the hammer dulcimer has gotten to be twice as heavy as it used to be 10 years ago. Those of you who are in your 70s will know what I'm talking about. Wanted to mention Michael McCreesh Campbell, my great buddies, Harley Campbell and Tom McCreesh. We had just such a great time. We went to Northern Ireland, where Tom's folks were from, and I met his Aunt Sarah. And Sarah was just great. She was a real card, great sense of humor. And one of the things I wanted to find out when we were in Ireland was what the whole thing was with the leprechauns. So over tea one afternoon, I got up my nerve and I said, "Now, Sarah, I don't mean to be, barging in and be rude, but I'd like to know if you believe in the leprechauns." And she said, oh no, but they're there anyway." So this is a tune about the leprechauns, Shebeag, Shemore, which in the Gaelic means the little fairy hill and the big fairy hill. It's a Turlough O'Carolan tune. I hope I can do it justice. Shebeag, Shemore, and Planxty, Irwin. Made a few mistakes there, but I've had a wonderful time being here. It's so great to see all these people. Professor Louie, who comes to Common Ground a bunch, and Cosy Sheridan. I haven't seen Cosy in a while. We'd love to have her back, and love for all of you to come to Common Ground on the Hill. The one thing that we do that's a little different than all the folk camps and the festivals is that we try to find common ground through the arts. And we talk about that. We have keynote speeches, we have people, we have thinkers, artists, musicians, and Martin Luther King said that one of the tenets of nonviolence is that everybody owns a piece of the truth. Everybody. So if we can go to that place in the people where we're having issues with them, if we can get to that, then we've got a shot at it. And I think that's worth striving for. So anyway, here's a tune that I wrote when I was stuck at a contra dance in Woodstock in January. It was freezing and there was a blizzard, and all I could think of is I'd love to go back to the Bermuda Folk Club. So this is called Bermudaful, and thanks for allowing a hammer dulcimer into your living room.
Walt Michael. Oh, thank you so much. It was so good to hear that. There's something about the sound of a dulcimer that I've always loved. It's one of my favorite folk instruments. And please be sure to check out Walt's website, waltmichael.com, and also commongroundonthehill.org. They do some amazing work, and it's something that you all want to check out. Well, as I mentioned at the top of the show, Robin Batteau is unable to be with us tonight. He has a case of laryngitis, and we hope he recovers very quickly. And, of course, we hope to reschedule him in the near future. But Robin was kind enough to offer up a replacement, and you really didn't have to look too far to find one. As you may know, Robin comes from a very musical family, and tonight we're proud to have Robin's brother, Brook, with us. And like his brother, Brook is a talented songwriter and guitarist. He possesses a unique and compelling vocal style. Brook has fronted bands in Boston, LA, New Orleans, and he currently resides in Shelburne Falls, Massachusetts. And if you're in the area, you can catch him performing at a little brewery in town called Floodwater Brewery. Brook has been working on a new album. It's planned for release sometime in the spring of 2023, fingers crossed. And also, he's the proud father of Alouette Batteau, who's a member of a rising band called Calliope Jones. Must certainly be something in that Batteau DNA. Well, we're grateful that he could be with us on such short notice, and I'm sure when you hear him, you're going to be grateful too. Please welcome Brook Batteau.
Thanks, Ron. It's so great to be here. I don't usually do folky shows, but here I am, and perhaps I'll do more in the future. I hope so. It's been so great so far. Amazing. But I need some tips on miking from a few people. Anyway, I'll do a few songs for you, all original, like most of you, I think. This is called Sweet Ghost. Can't wait to see you again. We were so close, but really just friends. For only an hour, we spoke in the dark. You showed me your book of personal art. Letters like atoms spread on the page, with glimpses of color, softness, and rage. I stared at your lips, so wanting to kiss. Now I can only imagine. Damn, do I miss them? I remember your face, the heat from your face, the scar on your forehead, so not out of place. Whispered and laughed, shared what we had from the mountains that crumbled. Mothers and dads, devils and angels, sex in the park, from Poe to Prometheus, a passionate star. I stared at your lips, wanting to kiss. Now I can only imagine. Damn, do I miss them? In the dark, you showed me your book of personal art. So one day, if we can, let's meet again in the dust of Death Valley or Namibia's sands, and we'll begin where we ended, continue the toast to love everlasting, to you, my sweet ghost. That was called Sweet Ghost. Hey, thank you. All the fellow musicians here clapping. So sweet. This next one is called Loveletter. For a little while I lived in a converted barn out in the middle of Massachusetts. And you know what happens in a little barn in the middle of Massachusetts. And you write stories. And this is one. Another sort of sad love story called Loveletter. I put on my best shoes, I waterproofed last night. As I zipped up my pants, I felt a cool breeze, and I shivered in the night. Down a path to the pasture, past the dying leaves. It feels like disaster, but I'm on a mission. I got a premonition about you, babe. Oh, that's why I'm sending a love letter down the wishing well. I'm sending a love letter, oh boys, you never can tell. My legs are soaking from the walking. in a forest of wet grass. My shoulders are cold like ice on a buried coyote's back. The air hits my lungs like fire, like fire, yeah. But I'm on a mission, I got a premonition about you, baby. Oh, that's why I'm sending a love letter down the wishing well. I'm sending a love letter, oh boys, you never can tell. Still water, still water, still water, yeah. Still water, it'll take my heart. Take this letter, tear it apart. Still water, still water, still water, yeah. But I'm on a mission, I got a premonition about you, baby. Oh, that's why I'm sending a love letter down wishing well. I'm sending a love letter, oh boys, you never can tell. Thank you so much. Thank you. Well, a nice loud clap at the end there. That was nice. Thank you. It's been great hearing everybody so far. I really appreciate it. And Joe, you had the best sound. You gotta let me know what your setup is. Really good. Can't wait to hear it. Okay, one more song. This is called Tea Roses. I've never seen you, I've never seen you around here. You're looking, you look a little blue. Can I buy you a good cup of coffee? And now I'd like to take you, yeah, to a party at a friend's right down the road. She's really cool and she's so funny. She cultivates tea roses in a little backyard down by a stream, by a shady bed of lilies of the valley. Oh, they're so intoxicating. I've been around here about 15 years. Lots of good times, oh, but buckets of tears. It's funny how love can really get you down. Oh, and now I like to take you, yeah, to a party at a friend's right down the road. She really cool and she's so fun. She cultivates tea roses in a little backyard down by a stream, by a shady bed of lilies of the valley. Oh, they're so intoxicating. Thank you so much. It was fun.
Thank you, Brooke. Thanks for being here with us tonight. Wonderful little songs that you brought to us. And before I introduce the next guest, I just want to remind people that the Greenwich Village Folk Festival accepts tips for the artists, and you can go to the Greenwich Village Folk Festival website. It's greenwichvillagefolkfestival.org, and you can make a contribution. And the contributions are gathered together and distributed among the performers that you are hearing tonight. Our next performer lives in Perth, Ontario, Canada, and is one of the most amazing Canadian performers out there today. He was born in Calgary, Alberta, but he's now living in Perth. And since 2011, he's been the artistic director of the Summer Folk Music and Crafts Festival in Owen Sound, and also the artistic director of Stewart Park Festival in Perth. But most people know him because he writes songs about historical events or social justice and things like this. And he has his latest album is called Secondhand Release. But I also want to say that he reaches people of all ages. And my two children who are in their 40s have been listening to his music for at least 20 years. And they recommend it to many of their peers for the historical content. And many of these children well, they're not children anymore, are they, if they're in their 40s, are learning about things in history from songs such as Kiri's Piano, or from a song about D-Day and things like that. James Keelaghan is interested in historical events, and then he writes songs about them and makes those events accessible to people through his music. So I love James Keelaghan's music for many reasons, and I've been listening to his music since I got, again, I'm going to date myself here, one of those black things with a little hole in the middle of it, a vinyl recording from James. So I hope that you enjoy James's music as much as I do. Here's James Keelaghan.
Thank you. I love when that happens, when you do that smooth transition. And I've been writing a little bit more personal history, or history of not a lot. Anyway, here's a story song for you. It's just a letter. Sometimes I leave it there in the November air for a day or two. Don't want to let it come in, 'cause when I do, that's when the heartache begins. Why am I still paying for his sins? what's he paid lately? And it's just a letter. And as I unfold it, my hands shake as I hold it. The grief washes over me. I try to hold back the tide, all the feelings I've dammed up inside, all the parts of me that have died. When will I get free? Because it's always the same, a request for parole. And that bastard's name, it shatters my soul. Would I like to submit a victim's account? 3 decades of pain, could I put it all down? And it's just a letter. And every year I write the board back and relive the attack like it's yesterday. I let them know of the wreckage that won't let me go, of the wish that I'll never outgrow, that I hope he dies in there. Then I walk to the corner and I'll send it away. It'll land on some desk in a couple of days. What happens then is anyone's guess. In the scales of justice, is it more, is it less? It's just a letter. Thank you very much. It's a personal history of a friend of mine. And so oddly enough, I'm the, probably aside from that, in the other 2 songs I'm going to do, I'm not actually going to play anything that's actually sort of based in history, Wanda. I'm sorry. Except for that one based in personal history. And but I like to mix it up a little bit. Although this next song, started as I've been spending some time in Genoa, in Italy, and I had this great story about the liberation of Genoa at the end of the Second World War. And one of the things that I do when I'm writing one of the historical songs is I tell the story over and over to friends. You know, like. It's insufferable, really. People stop hanging around me, but I'll just retell the story like 10, 20 times to 10 or 20 different friends. And by the time I finish telling the story 10 or 20 times, I've condensed it down into what are like really the salient points, like the best parts of the narrative, and then I sort of write out from there. But I was telling the story about the liberation of Genoa to my brother Bob, and also a great musician. And he said, hey, you know, a good name for that song would be The Benefits of Surrender. I thought, yeah, actually, that would be a great title for that song. So I started sort of writing towards that, and then it just ended up about not being about the liberation of Genoa at all, in any way, shape, or form. So we call it the Lynn Miles style of songwriting. Lynn Miles, when she writes her songs, which are always just beautiful little diamonds, she always writes the title first and then goes from there. Anyway, so this is a song called The Benefits of Surrender. strayed from the way I had charted, estranged from my allies, I've wandered alone. And I've been building walls instead of hanging windows. Hunkered down and hidden, I've been living in limbo. Lately I've spent too much energy fighting. The love I've been offered, I find hard to receive. And I've been being tough instead of being tender, taking way too much when I should have rendered. I've been pushing back when I should be giving in. Brittle and hard, I can't bend with the wind. And I've been making do when I could have had splendor, if I could accept the benefits of surrender. Lately I've thought I am not where I should be, when I could be living the here and the now. I've been in my head instead of being open, taking way too much when that is unspoken. I've been holding fast when I should be seeding ground, knowing what goes out may yet come around. And I've been making do when I could have had splendor, if I could accept the benefits of surrender. So I'll play one more, and I'll put out the reminder this time that somewhere buried in that chat, there's a link for you to put money in the hat for all the fine musicians that you're seeing this evening, and we'd really appreciate that. Thank you. And I'm going to finish with a song I co-wrote with my friend Catherine McClellan. And Catherine and I wanted to write a tune for our times, and so we ended up writing a marching tune. Because at the time we wrote it, we felt that there was probably going to be a lot of marching in our future. And indeed, we were right. And more marching coming up too. So it's good to have songs to march to, I think. And it's got a sing-along part, which you guys will all figure out. The sing-along part is basically, walk on! You'll find it. You'll sing it. You'll enjoy it. Thank you very much to the Folk Festival for having me. And for allowing me to be in such august company. Walt, it's been many, many years since I've seen you. And on the other end of it, Cosy Sheridan, I just saw like 3 weeks ago in Moab, Utah. So it's like, good heavens. See you later. know sometimes you're feeling tired. Many days you feel all alone. But on the streets there are people marching. Pick yourself up now and come along. One step forward and two steps back. Many days, that's how it goes. But now I'm talking about a new tomorrow. Stand up, buddy, let's hit the road. Walk on, better days are coming. Walk on, you don't have to walk alone. Hold on to the things you believe in. Keep on walking till we all get home. You wanna rise, but you feel held down. You wanna move, but you're stuck in place. I know it's dark and it's getting darker. Stand up, sister, pick up the pace. Walk on, better days are coming. Walk on, you don't have to walk alone. Hold on to the things you believe in. Keep on walking till we all get home. Take a break at home. Walk on, better days are coming. Walk on, you don't have to walk alone. Hold on to the things you believe in. Keep on walking till we all get home. Walk on, better days are coming. Walk on, you don't have to walk alone. Hold on to the things you believe in. Keep on walking till we all get home. Keep on walking till we all get home. Keep on walking till we all get home.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, James Keelaghan. And thank you and Catherine McClellan for writing that great song. My dad used to say that all the time. Better days are coming. Walk on. Oh, I love it. That's from James's new album called Secondhand. And this is a time of the year when folk DJs like myself and Wanda and others, and we start doing our best of lists. And I'm betting you're going to see James's album on a few lists this year. Well, I hope everybody out there is enjoying this as much as we are. We have more great performers coming up, including Professor Louie, Christine Lavin, Cosy Sheridan, Joe Crookston, Dan Navarro, and our next guest, who I am so happy to introduce. Now, she grew up in New York City. She studied art at Oberlin, started a business in San Francisco, began her songwriting career, I believe, in Boston. And now she resides, writes, plays, teaches, and paints in the Hudson Valley. She's released 8 independent albums. She's toured internationally as a solo artist since 2005. She's also produced a one-woman multimedia show called The Women Who Rode Away. Natalia is a teacher, a program director for Kid Pan Alley, an organization that creates collaborative songwriting workshops in schools, camps, online, and at community centers nationwide. In fact, on December 28th, she'll be doing an online benefit concert for the organization, along with Melissa Farrick. Well, in addition to her career as a singer-songwriter, she's also a certified yoga teacher. She's been a cultural ambassador for the State Department with her trio, The Northern Lights. She's also a muralist, illustrator, portrait artist, and she owns her own mural company, which has created community-based projects throughout the U.S., including San Francisco, New York, Arizona, and also a large outdoor mural in Havana, Cuba. I probably missed a few projects, but we only have a couple hours for this festival, so let me get down to business and welcome Natalia Zukerman.
Oh, thank you. Hi, everybody. Thanks, Ron. That was really nice. This is so lovely. I went down such a rabbit hole this morning of looking at old tour photos and just have feeling like I've been missing my peeps. So it's so good to just hear beautiful music and be amongst all you weirdos. I love you. I'll start out with this one. This is called Legend.
But I dare not say your name. I don't wanna give away that I think you're superhuman. You defined a whole genre, Georgia and Amelia. You are the stuff of folklore, saga and conquistador. When you're up against a legend, there's no way you're gonna win. It's a lonely night in London. It's the saddest violin. We could read the last chapter, but we know how it ends. 'Cause when you're up against a legend, no one wins. Reflection in the window. Oh, it was me all along. 'Cause I'm up against a legend. There's no way I'm gonna win. It's just me and Judy Garland and this bottle of gin. I could read the last chapter, but I know how it ends. 'Cause when you're up against a legend, up against a legend, up against a legend, and no one wins.
Oh, the clapping says. I'm in a weekly songwriting group that I've been in for many years. It's Matt the Electrician's group. It's really fantastic, and every Friday we hand in a song by midnight, and that one was the prompt was Legend, and I don't think it's a very good song, but it's got that one line about Judy Garland, and that's a killer. You know what I mean? It's like you just like shitty songs all over the place, but like keep that one line. I'm a line hoarder, so maybe I'll put it back in somewhere else. This was another one, and this I didn't know if I was gonna play this. It's brand spanking, so it's a little creaky. But Shanna, I am also a caregiver currently for my mom who has Alzheimer's, and I've written a whole bunch of songs about that experience, and it is beautiful and sacred and crushing, and yeah. So we'll try this one. This is how it goes.
We already know how it ends, so let's not rush this part. If you're doing something right, it's bound to leave a mark. So break wide open, take a look inside. Maybe being scared ladies just finding new ways to be surprised. Find me now that I'm not lost. I'm on my own path, learning how to walk. Find me. I've been here all the time. I'm flashing open, open. I'm a neon sign. Open, open, open. Open, open, open. Open, open. If someone at the hospital calls, then I'll know I missed my chance to walk you home, and I will break wide open. Nothing is the same. Oh, I will break wide open, and I'll find you there. You've been gone for so long, but now you're everywhere, saying find me. Now that I'm not lost, I'm on my own path, learning how to walk. Find me. I've been here all the time. I'm flashing open, open, open. I'm flashing open, open, open. I'm flashing open. I'm a neon sign. Ooh. Open, open, open. Open, open. I'm a neon sign. Ooh. Open, open, open.
Thanks, everybody. This is a force to put on once a month. My goodness. Thank you for all the service, and thank you for all the beautiful music.
Oh, little bird on a wire, don't your feet get sore like that? Don't you get tired of singing out here all day long? Well, I've been out here since the morning. I don't know what to do with all this longing. I'm gonna let the sun kiss me all day long. From the daybreak, yeah, until the nightfall. I've been out here waiting for you. That's what I do. Children down the street are selling lemonade. Maybe we haven't made all the mistakes we thought we made, 'cause children still play all day long. People pass me by on the street. Some are really moving, some barely shuffling their feet. there's people going someplace all day long. And I know I should go inside, but you said let's give this one more try. So I've been out here waiting to fly like a little bird on a wire. Don't you figure it's sort like that? Don't you get tired of singing out here all day long? So go on, move along. The little bird, my little bird, yes, my little bird, my little bird.
Absolutely beautiful, Natalia. That was just wonderful. And I hope that people will pick up some of your recordings and listen to your music outside of the Greenwich Village Folk Festival here tonight. Well, it's my pleasure now to introduce Dan Navarro to you. I first met Dan when he was playing with an acoustic duo called Louie and Navarro. And that was Eric Lowen was his partner for many years. They did 13 albums together. They played more than 1,500 shows. And then Eric sadly became ill and had to drop out of the duo. And Eric passed away in 2012 from ALS, which some people know as Lou Gehrig's disease. And Eric actually came from the Saratoga Springs area, and they played Cafe Lena fairly frequently. Dan's latest solo CD is called Horizon Line, and last year he did a duo CD with James Lee Stanley, another longtime friend of mine, who it's called All Wood and Lead, which were acoustic arrangements of Led Zeppelin songs. And the other thing that Dan does a lot, he's a voiceover artist and actor, and you might have heard him doing commercials or in movies, or some of his songs have been in many movies. And some of the young children that you may know may have been singing a Dan song called We Don't Talk About Bruno. That's one of the movies, one of the songs that he had in the movie Encanto. And Dan has done songs for Coco and Happy Feet and many other movies. And he does music and acting, and he's a bilingual actor. And he's also serves on the board of SAG-AFTRA, the Actor Performer Broadcasters Union, and he was the past president of Folk Alliance International. So I hope that you enjoy his music as much as I do. When he goes to Folk Alliance International, he also hosts a bunch of folk singers and songwriters in a thing that he calls the Cantina. So here is Dan Navarro.
Hi, everybody. I'm so thrilled to be here. Thank you, Wanda. That was just, I got tired just listening to that. I swear to God, I like working and I hate sleep and all of that stuff. Wanda was correct. I put out a new album just a couple of months ago, and this is one of those. I'll give up my sadness, I promise. I'll give up my anger, I swear. I wasn't walking in the darkness on purpose, just had no reason to care. I burned my old papers this morning, the romance of just how I felt. way to all faded away in that Hollywood Heartbreak Hotel. I'll put a rose in the window so you'll know just who you're looking for. 'Cause the searchlights and the sirens are easy to ignore. I'll put a rose in the window growing out of my crown of thorns. Look for the rose in the window, come knock on my door. There was a star that I followed, so brilliant, so widely renowned, but I wouldn't listen to no one, followed her all the way down. But a man is no more than what he believes, the words that he whispers at night. Forgive yourself if you're wrong in your choosing, choose again at first light. I'll put a rose in the window so you'll know just who you're looking for. 'Cause the searchlights and the sirens are easy to ignore. I'll put a rose in the window growing out of my crown of thorns. Look for the rose in the window, come knock on my door. No questions asked, I don't care where you've been. Come knock on my door and I'll be yours again. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'll put a rose in the window so you'll know just who you're looking for. 'Cause the searchlights and the sirens are easy to ignore. I'll put a rose in the window growing out of my crown of thorns. Look for the rose in the window, come knock on my door. Knock on my door. I'll put a rose in the window, come knock on my door. Semi-dark tale, yeah. Thank you. A sort of dark aqua tale from, with lyrics by Preston Sturgis. Wanda mentioned that I'm bilingual and I got a wild hair, so I'm changing. I write set lists and I never follow him. So this is for Mariana. Tanto tiempo disfrutamos de este amor, nuestras almas se acercaron tanto así, que yo guardo tu sabor, pero tú llevas también sabor a mí. Si negaras mi presencia en tu vivir, bastaría con abrazarte y conversar. Mucho tiempo yo te di, que por fuerza llevas ya sabor a mí. No pretendo ser tu dueño, yo soy nada, yo no tengo vanidad. De mi vida doy lo bueno, soy tan pobre que otra cosa puedo dar. Pasarán más de 1000 años, muchos más, yo no sé si tenga amor la eternidad. Pero allá tal como aquí, en la boca llevará sabor a mí. No pretendo ser tu dueño, yo soy nada, yo no tengo vanidad de mi vida. Doy lo bueno, soy tan pobre que otra cosa puedo dar. Pasarán más de 1000 años, muchos más. Yo no sé si tenga amor la eternidad, pero allá tal como aquí, en la boca llevará sabor a mí, sabor a mí, sabor a mí. Thank you very much. The only problem with when I do this sort of thing is that it takes me a little while to get out of the accent, which I have to do a little bit. The accent have to change in order to, but yes, okay, fine, we've done it. A little song of the season, and then I'll bid fond farewell. Thank you so much, all of you, for having me. To Rod, to Wanda, to Ron, to Greg, to everybody here. 'Tis the season. And this is a song that Eric Lohner and I wrote and sent out to radio stations in 1991. That's 22 years ago. Dan math, something like that. On a night so dreary, where will they go to fight the hard winter, afraid and alone? They follow a star to a cold, dark stable where a child is born who will change the world. So open your heart and let us give cheer and try to remember the meaning of Christmas each day of the year. On a downtown corner, no place for a home, or food for their hunger, afraid and alone. How can we look through them as if they weren't real? How can we imagine the hurt they must feel? So open your hearts and let us give cheer and try to remember the meaning of Christmas each day of the year. A star that shines forever. Let us sing together. Alleluia, alleluia. Open your hearts and let us give cheer and try to remember the meaning of Christmas each day of the year. Each day of the year. Each day of, remember the meaning of Christmas each day of the year. Each day of the year. Happy Merry Christmas Kwanzaa to everybody out there, and thank you again so much for having me.
Thank you, Dan. What a great song and a great reminder, especially this time of year. And also to remind all of you people who are watching that Dan has a wonderful album out called Horizon Line. If you're looking for a gift for Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Solstice, New Year's, whatever, check it out. And check out his website because he has a wonderful concert calendar as well. This guy is one of the hardest working and most well-traveled artists. Although I don't know why you're doing a tour of the East during February and January, but that's another story. I wish you all the best in good weather. Anyway.
Cold people need music too.
That's a good point. Good point. Thanks, Dan. Well, speaking of people, I want to thank some wonderful people who have already been donating to our tip jar tonight. This is a free concert, but your tips are much needed because it helps not only the performers, but it helps keep this event going. We came back in in July of 2020 during the pandemic, and we've been on the first Sunday of every month. So your donations help to keep this going. It helps to pay the performers that you're seeing. And check out in YouTube or Facebook. Just look at the bottom corner in the chat column, or just go to GreenwichVillageFolkFestival.org, where you can make your donation and find out more. And also find some of the archives. If you're new to this festival, we've got every show archived, and we have some great shows coming up, which I'll tell you about a little later. Now, this is the first Sunday of the month, and if you look at your calendar, like I'm doing right now, the first Sunday of January happens to be New Year's Day, and we have got an amazing show planned. I'm not going to tell you yet. You got to stick around. You'll find out. Well, let's get to our next performer. He is a songwriter, a guitarist, a painter, a fiddler, a slide player. He's been a Folk Alliance artist in residence. Joe has also been a musical tour guide for trips to Ireland, as well as rafting trips in Idaho, and incorporates music in all of these trips. And he started a business called Bluebird Music Tours of, of the Finger Lakes, where for 5 days he leads a group around the Finger Lakes on a tour of history, culture, indigenous people, women's rights history, food, and a great time singing and playing and making art. And he's got 3 tours lined up for the fall of 2023. Now, Joe did take some time off from performing in recent years for personal reasons, including rebuilding and reinventing after the pandemic. But he certainly hasn't stopped creating. Joe's working on a project for 2023, which is called 9 Becomes 1, and he plans to release a total of 9 EPs over the course of the coming year. It'll be one about every 5 weeks or so. Each EP is expected to contain 5 songs for a total of 45 songs for the year. And that's welcome news, especially for us folk DJs, because Joe's last recording came out way back in 2014 and we've missed him. Well, Joe is also doing lots of artwork. He's putting together a book called The Book of Yes that will feature musings, artwork, poetry, and lyrics to songs. We're delighted that this busy man is able to join us tonight. It's always an honor to be able to say, please welcome Joe Crookston.
Thank you, Ron. I've missed you. And usually I start a show maybe with, I don't know, maybe I start in the depths of despair and then work ourselves up to a crescendo of ecstasy. But I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to start fun and go downhill into the pits of despair and leave you there. So super glad to hear everybody play tonight. And I'm going to sing you bird by bird. Here it goes. Oh, it sounds good. Trouble isn't easy, no. Trouble brings doubt. Fear comes in and the joy goes out. Trouble isn't easy, no trouble brings doubt. Fear comes in and the joy goes out. How we gonna make it? Yeah, what are we gonna do? How we gonna make it when trouble comes through? We'll take it bird by bird, bird by bird. We'll take it stone by stone, stone by stone. We'll take it bird by bird, bird by bird. We'll take it stone by stone. We'll take it stone by stone. Woo, yeah. Change isn't easy, change is hard. Fear comes in and it can tear you apart. How we gonna make it? Yeah, what are we gonna do? How we gonna make it when change comes through? We'll take it bird by bird, bird by bird. We'll take it stone by stone, stone by stone. We'll take it bird by bird, bird by bird. We'll take it stone by stone. We'll take it stone by stone. Yeah, dreams aren't easy, dreams get lost. Fear comes in and the dream gets tossed. How we gonna make it? Yeah, what are we gonna do? How we gonna make this dream come true? We'll take it bird by bird, bird by bird. We'll take it stone by stone, stone by stone. We'll take it bird by bird, bird by bird. We'll take it stone by stone. We'll take it stone by stone. Thank you so much. This is what I want to show you right here. I got this song I'm going to sing for you right now. It's called Get Myself Free. And I know I've been a crazy painter and an artist, and when I was a kid, I used to build sculptures in my bedroom. And then I kind of gave it up because I thought it was weird. And now, look at me. I'm a big baseball fan, so I've been building these things I call carefree art. And the thing what I mean about carefree art is I just glue and screw things together, household objects, and I do not care if they turn out cool or not cool. I'm just having fun in my shop. But the only rule I have is that every head of the creature needs to be a baseball. So I've been having fun with this little guy here. I built about 20 of them over the last little while here, and it's same as songwriting. I've been thinking about how writing songs is a way to get free. And I was thinking about the James Keelaghan song where he mentioned about getting free. And I think that songs, and I've always believed in them as powerful, but I think in the last couple years I've really deepened my sense of how writing, telling the truth, feeling that expression, and sharing it with others can be extremely healing and powerful in our world. And so I guess I've been writing a lot lately, and this is one of them about getting myself free. wondering if you all want to get free with me. Come on. Come on, right? Why not? I'll tell you one thing. I'm gonna get myself free. I'll tell you one thing. I'm gonna get myself free. Hey, sweet baby, what do you say? Do you wanna get free with me? I just have to say it's time for me to leave. I just have to say it's time for me to leave. Hey, sweet baby, what do you say? Do you want to leave with me? Oh, baby, what do you say? Just have to say, I gotta do what I gotta do. I just gotta say, I gotta do what I gotta do. Hey, sweet baby, what do you say? 'Cause I'd like to do it with you. I'll say it again. Well, it's all over and through. I'll say it again. It's all over and through. Hey, sweet baby, what do you say? 'Cause I'd like to be all over you. Baby, what do you say? Now, if you're sitting at home and you like to sing, I'd like to sing it with you. And if you're sitting at home and you don't like to sing, I say get over it and sing anyhow, because it feels good. Here we go. Come on. I'll tell you one thing. I'm gonna get myself free. I'll tell you one thing. I'm gonna get myself free. Hey, sweet baby, what do you say? Do you wanna get free with me? Come on, here we go. I'll tell you one thing. I'm gonna get myself free. I'll tell you one thing. I'm gonna get myself free. Hey, sweet baby, what do you say? Do you wanna get free with me? Baby, what do you say? Thank you so much.
I think you're good. You're
Lou, if we have any gardeners here, you know, if you ever plant garlic, you plant the garlic in November, late November, and it winters over under the snow, and then it sprouts up in March, and then sometime in late July, you harvest the garlic. And I was married for 19 years, but not anymore. And Catherine and I had this tradition of planting garlic every November. And I was thinking about that a few months ago, and I was bawling my eyes out like a little baby, writing songs. And I wrote this song, and it's called Garlic. Every year we planted in the fall and covered the garlic up with straw. We would laugh about the tears. We'd push the bulbs down in the dirt. We would joke about the hurt and how we'll try another year. And now they're buried underneath the winter soil and all the grief. We tried our best to make it through. And maybe spring will bring the rain and wash away the pain. We tried our best to make it through, me and you. And in the spring after the snow, we tend and give him room to grow, a little green and sprouting proudly. They were reaching for the sun, but you and me had come undone, and now we split the bounty. And in the spring after the snow, we'd give 'em room to grow. We tried our best to make it through, me and you. Now I work the autumn lands with newer dreams and different hands as we turn toward December. And in the spring they'll poke above and maybe teach us about love, so we can lean into the splendor. And in the spring they'll poke above and maybe teach us about love. And we tried our best to make it through, me and you. Every year we planted in the fall and covered the garlic up with straw. Thanks all for listening.
Thanks, Joe. That was a lovely set, and you just kind of left us all speechless there. And once again, I'd like to remind people that if you go to Greenwich Village Folk Festival, you can make a donation into the tip jar for these wonderful musicians that you've been hearing tonight. And I hope that you will consider that. I know that it's not everybody's asking you to make donations, but if you're enjoying this music, these artists really deserve a little bit of something from you. So go to greenwichvillagefolkfestival.org and you can make a donation. It does, whatever you can do. We would really appreciate it. Our next musician is Cosy Sheridan, and she lives in New Hampshire. And she's been writing for a long time. She was a winner of the Kerrville Folk Festival and Telluride Bluegrass Festival songwriting contest in 1992. But she is also the director of the Moab Folk Camp in Moab, Utah. And she's been involved in many activities of teaching writing and music. And she and her bass player and husband, Charlie Koch, they play together all the time. And I've seen them many, many times. And her latest CD is called A Beautiful Sound, came out last year. They do a live stream concert on their Facebook page and YouTube channel. And one of the things that strikes me about Cosy is that she writes about all kinds of different subjects, whether it's talking about the neighbor who needs to have a good fence or talking about everyday things. She wrote a wonderful song to Woody Guthrie. And I saw her at a folk festival in the Chicago area several years ago, and she started singing a song called We Sang Over the Rainbow. And I knew immediately who she wrote the song about. It was somebody that we both knew who had passed away. And I knew immediately that she was right, that she wrote that song for a person that we both knew. So she's able to take sensitive topics and turn them into wonderful songs. So I hope that you will welcome Cosy Sheridan from Harrisville, New Hampshire.
Thank you, Wanda. It was a lovely introduction, and it's just been a wonderful night of music. Joe, that was a beautiful set. And when Joe said at the beginning, he said, I'm going to start up here and then I'm going to go down, I thought, we're going to start with the perfect song for where he's coming out. I've been sitting at home. It's the dark time now, and if you live in the woods of New Hampshire, it really gets dark early. There's not a lot of streetlights here. And I've been sort of going into, I guess you'd call it hibernation mode. I'd been on the road a lot. I came home and I've just been sitting on the couch reading and sitting by our fire. And just wanting to sort of hide for a while and escape. And I think the dark time of the year for a lot of us, we just want to sort of go inside. Sometimes I feel too much, and then I can't feel anything at all. Too many phones ring in my head, I don't answer any calls. I close my door and sit in my room and wait for my heart to come round. Sometimes I feel too much and the machine shuts down. And I offer my regrets that only part of me is here. A moment of adversity and my heart just disappeared. It just seems to happen. It's not something I try to do. It's like I've got a boat and the boat has a hole and my heart falls through. But you know and you see my heart has disappeared. Can you find it for me? That knows how to carry on, it attaches in the back, and it acts as a sort of shield for the heart, protecting it from attack, and it engages in emergencies. Take one more step now, try, 'cause it will not help to sit down on the sidewalk and cry. But you know and you see my heart has disappeared. Can you find it for me? And please may I come home now, 'cause I cannot find my heart. And they are shouting, shooting rockets in the park. But you know and you see my heart has disappeared. Can you find it for me? Sometimes I feel too much, then I can't feel anything at all. Charlie actually gave me that idea for that song. Oh, thank you. I forget. That's right. You just applaud. I forgot. I'm so used to doing our live stream when there is no applause afterwards. And so I've learned to, at the end of a song, just start talking. It's just become second nature. I say, good job, Charlie, and then we just move right on. So thank you for your applause. I forgot. So because it's a live stream, I can have 3 guitars here in 3 different tunings, which is pretty convenient. I want to thank Walt for mentioning Pete Sutherland, who passed away, who we lost. A fine musician who's been in the community for so long. And having started out in New England, I feel like I'm familiar with all these different styles of music. The Northeast it's such a rich area of music. There's songwriters, there's traditional players, there's tune players, there's everything. And we've lost a lot of people. We lost Pete. In the Boston area, we lost Dick Pleasance just recently. And I wanted to do this song about sort of people that we have lost, but also that remembering people at the height of their powers. I was recently somewhere at a festival looking at a friend who, at the height of their powers, had been this god on stage. And we all age, and we all come to a place where we are ourselves, and we are more ourselves, but we're not that 25-year-old or that 35-year-old. And this song, actually, I wrote for my dad, but I think of a lot of people when I think about people who were the stallion of the herd at one time and now are not. So this song was inspired by taking my dad in 2008 when the financial crisis happened. His bank was subsumed into Bank of America, and he was in his mid-80s, and he's on the phone with Bank of America's customer services. And he's trying to have them tell him how to find his account, and he doesn't know how to work online. And he fails his 3 security questions with the Bank of America customer service person because he doesn't care what his password was. He didn't think it mattered. He's not wearing his hearing aids. He's not paying attention. For all these reasons, he fails his 3 security questions with the Bank of America. And so they hang up on him. And he has no recourse. But I'm visiting in this town in New Hampshire that I grew up in. And I say, Dad, let's go downtown and we'll go to a couple of banks. There's like 2 Bank of Americas within that area. And maybe there's 3. Whatever it is, we go to a couple of banks. So I say, let's go downtown and we'll talk to them and we'll figure out where your account is. But to get my dad in the car at that time took a lot of work. You had to get him and his walker out to the car. You had to get him in the passenger seat. You had to get the walker into the back of the car. You had to get around into the car. You drive the car downtown. You get the walker out of the back of the car. You get the driver's seat, the passenger seat open. You get my dad out of the car. You get him into the walker. You get him down to the big bank doors. You open the big bank doors. You walk down that big long bank corridor. It's like 100 miles for somebody in a walker. And we do this, I think, at 3 banks. And each time we get to the end of this long corridor and they say, I'm sorry, we don't know where your account is. And that's how friendly and helpful they are. They just say, I'm sorry, we don't know where your account is. And at one time in that town, my dad had lived in that town all of my life. And everyone knew him. At one time when we walked in that bank, they would have said, hi, Charlie Sheridan, how are you? And we both realized that day he had become an old man. He was nobody in that bank anymore. And it was really hard for both of us. I'd been the little girl on his arm when he was the guy, and he wasn't the guy anymore. So I wrote this song for him. This is called The Horse King. Last night I saw the Horse King when he was in his prime, carrying the day and leading the line. Long ago in the green of spring, I remember when he was the Horse King. When he was young, I was young too. His legs were strong, what they could do. All the flags would fly and all the bells would rise on the Horse King. But one morning in the field, the stallions came around. They pushed him up against the fence, and he went down. They left him there to get up and get home. The Horse King no more, just old and all alone. For the pleasure of this world we will each pay a price. We fight the last battle and roll the final dice. But someday, somewhere, springtime comes twice, and I will meet the Horse King in the fields of paradise. Last night I saw the Horse King when he was in his prime, carrying the day and leading the line. Long ago in the green of spring, I remember when he was the Horse King.
Oh, beautiful.
Very much. I want to thank Charlie for lending me his guitar. Let's see, what do I need here? And I want to thank Charlie for playing, my wonderful husband here. We're going to do one more song for you. I wanted to just tell this little story before we went out, because it is the dark time of year, and I think of December as the month you get through. I know a lot of us think of it, I think of it as the month you get through. It's dark. December 21st is when we start thinking about the light again. What are we doing? We're going to do To the Moon. And this is a story of Psyche, the woman who falls in love with the god of love. Psyche is a young woman, and she falls in love with the god of love named Eros. And Eros, being a young god of love, isn't really ready for the depth of commitment that a young woman's going to want from her first boyfriend. And anyway, he runs off. And Psyche is left to mourn her lost boyfriend. But along comes his mother, the goddess Aphrodite. And she says to Psyche, well, I'll get you my son back, but you'll have to work for me for the summer first. And Aphrodite gives Psyche these impossible jobs to do. And one of the impossible jobs is that there's a pile of seeds the size of my house. And in this pile of seeds are 3 different kinds of seeds. And Aphrodite says to Psyche, by tomorrow morning, I want to see 3 piles of the 3 kinds of seeds. An impossible job. Now, Psyche knows an impossible job when she's given one. And naturally, when faced with an impossible job, she feels rather overwhelmed. And being overwhelmed, she starts to feel a bit depressed. And being depressed, she starts to feel tired. And Psyche falls asleep, which you might think is the wrong thing to do when you've been given a job with a short time limit. But when Psyche wakes up the next morning, there are 3 piles of 3 kinds of seeds. While she's been asleep, ants have come and they have divided the piles for her. So next time you feel overwhelmed in these dark months, take a nap. Everything gets better after a nap. I think we should all take at least 1 nap a day in the month of December. I want to thank the Greenwich Village Folk Festival for having us, and all these wonderful folks who create it and produce it. I want to thank Wanda and Ron and all the wonderful artists I got to hear tonight. So we're going to go out on this. This is called I Will Love You to the Moon. Put away all of your angry and put away all of your sad. Put away all of the winter and the dream you had, and take out this little seed, the hope that we all need. I will love you to the moon, and to the moon on the mornings when you're feeling old. All the warnings you were ever told,
what you owe and what you'll keep and how you plan to survive when the drop is sudden and steep. Let the afternoon come, maybe not get anything done. I will love you to the moon, and to the moon on the mornings when you're feeling old. All the warnings you were ever told, they seem to be coming true. To the moon when you can't remember how or why. Love might hang in your sky. Sing with all the space inside. Let it fall out. Don't even try for the back of the room or the notes way up high. Let it vibrate in your chest. Maybe this song will help you rest. I will love you to the moon, and to the moon on the mornings when you're feeling old. All the warnings you were ever told, they seem to be coming true. To the moon when you can't remember how or why. Love might hang in your sky. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Cosy. Hey, Cosy, before you leave, I just wanted to ask you, you and Charlie were doing this wonderful weekly Facebook live program. Are you still doing that?
Every Tuesday morning at 10:30 on our
10:30.
Facebook page, 10:30 Eastern Time. Yes, thanks for asking.
Sure, and that's on Facebook. Folks can catch you, right?
And my YouTube channel, either one.
Oh, excellent. Wow. That is wonderful. I'm so glad you're doing that. You know, so many people and so many artists from the pandemic started these things. And I think folks at home are really enjoying it. A lot of people who are still not able to get out. It's one of the reasons why we do this festival every week. So thanks to you and Charlie for doing that. And thanks for being here again tonight. Well, I hope everybody out there is having as good of a time as all of us are. I'm just sitting here watching everybody backstage, people singing along, and we're having so much fun. And again, thanks to everybody who's donated to our tip jar. I don't want to sound like a broken record. I know Wanda and I do a lot of fundraising on our radio shows, but I think that these events and the festival is so important. The pandemic started, that they brought this back. They asked me and Christine Lavin and others to MC, and we've been having a marvelous time on the first Sunday of every month, getting to meet new artists, getting to say hello to old friends, hear what they're up to, hear new songs, and it's support from people just like you that have made it possible. Now, I know times are tough. Not everybody can donate, especially at this time of year. It's difficult. But if you're able to, please take a look. You'll see the link to the tip jar in the Facebook and the YouTube chat page. Or again, just go to GreenwichVillageFolkFestival.org and you can make your donation that way as well. Well, I'm excited about our next performer, to have her back with us. And I know many people are reluctant to use words like icon or legend when describing artists. Those terms are often overused or cliche. So perhaps we need to come up with some new terms that recognize the impact and love that people have for people like our next performer, not only just among the folk community, but also among her fans. She started out as a waitress and a baker at Cafe Lena in 1975. And that's where she met Dave Van Ronk, who encouraged her to come to New York City to study guitar. Luckily, she took that advice, and it led to her career as a singer, songwriter, guitarist, recording artist, author, videographer, and cheerleader for the contemporary folk world. Now, in May of 2021, Christine received an honorary doctorate in fine arts from her alma mater, the State University of New York at Brockport. And coincidentally, the same month that she received her honorary doctorate, her younger brother, who's also named Chris, was awarded his honorary doctorate in humane letters from his alma mater, Hobart William Smith Colleges in Geneva, New York. Quite an honor. By the way, next Saturday, Christine will be doing a special show with another Greenwich Village Folk Festival alumni, Tina Ross. They'll be at the Cooperage in Honesdale, Pennsylvania. But tonight, we are so happy that she could be with us. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Dr. Christine Lavin.
Oh, thank you, Ron. Yeah, it's a thrill that both Christopher and I, we call each other the other Chris Lavin, and we both got doctorates within a week of each other. And our siblings that have real master's degrees, which neither Chris or I have, are not happy about this, that we just kind of leapfrogged over. But I would love to say hello to Alan Pepper and Eileen Pepper, who are watching in Englewood, New Jersey. Alan owned the Bottom Line for 30 years. And one of the great things about club owners around the country is that a lot of them give an open door policy to performers who play their clubs. So we're allowed to come in and see other performers without having to pay, because we're always, struggling that way. And so many friendships blossomed at the bar, at the Bottom Line, and also at the tables. And so, hi, Alan. Hi, Eileen. Great to see you. I'm replacing Robin Batteau because Robin has a cold, just garden variety cold. Don't worry, nothing serious. And just by coincidence, when I got the call if I could replace him, this organization called New York State Music, that's nysmusic.com, called me up and asked if they could do a story about a song that I wrote many, many years ago. And it was posted just this afternoon. And so I quickly practiced the song because it's one that I don't do that often. And it's about a very terrible anniversary that we're coming up to. And that is the day that John Lennon lost his life. And I live just a few blocks from there now. And I lived even closer when it actually happened. And I remember that night. By the way, it's so wonderful to see Wanda Fisher doing the emceeing. She's so good. And she just celebrated 40 years on the air herself up in the Albany area. WAMC, right? That's the name of the station. And but I remember that night when John Lennon was shot, that Vince Scelsa was on the air, and many people called him. He was, I think, on K-Rock or WNEW. I don't remember. He's been on a bunch of stations. And he just opened the phone lines up. And it was just a natural place for people to express their grief and outrage and sorrow over what had happened that night. And about a year later, I was coming in from a long trip on the road. I remember it very clearly because I hadn't slept at all. And I was stuck in traffic right outside the Dakota where John Lennon lived. And then a song of his came on the radio. It was a Monday morning, I was coming in from a long trip on the road. A flat cab near the East Side Terminal, I said, please take me home. We drove up along 3rd Avenue, crossed through Central Park. When we came out at 72nd Street, I felt a cold chill in my heart. Every time I see that Dakota, I think about that night. Shots ringing out, the angry shouts, a man losing his life. Well, it's something we shouldn't dwell Shower traffic was bottled up. We slowly hinged by. I didn't want to look, but I couldn't help staring at the scene of the crime. There was an old man sweeping last night's dirt out of the darkened vestibule, and a uniformed guard in a gold-trimmed cap watching the world pass in review. But every time I see the Dakota, I think about that night. Shots ringing out, the angry shouts, a man losing his life. Well, it's something we shouldn't dwell upon, but it's something we shouldn't ignore. Too many good men have been put down. Let's pray there won't be anymore. I don't believe in coincidence, so why then on the radio did an old familiar voice echo back from not so long ago? He said, imagine all the people living life in peace. Well, that's hard to do when you're on this blood-stained street. I wish I had the answer to the simple question why. I wish this taxi would go faster, or I wish the driver would try to leave this street and leave this old building far behind. I wish I could take these bitter thoughts and just shake them from my mind. But every time I see the Dakota, I think about that night. Shots ringing out, the angry shouts, a man losing his life. Well, it's something we shouldn't dwell upon. It's something we shouldn't ignore. Too many good men have been cut down. Let's pray there won't be anymore. Imagine all the people living life in peace. That's a hard one. That's a hard one to do. And I want to thank New York State Music for writing about that song. Now, what I've got here is a book that I wrote, and this came out actually about 11 years ago. And I'm going to read you chapter 21, which was kind of inspired by Robin Batteau. So, and this is an absolute true story. I have 8 copies of this book left on my shelf. So if you want to get one, you better contact me soon, because I don't know if there's any more after this. But chapter 21 of this book, Cold Pizza for Breakfast, is called, Yeah, I'm Always the First One You Think of If She's Busy. Okay. Now, what I've done is I've typed it out on my screen here so I can tell you the story. This is absolutely true. I couldn't make this stuff up if I tried. Although I have made my living all these years on stage, I've never had formal training. I just play my guitar, tell my stories, and sing songs the best I can. So, when I got a phone call in the summer of 1998 asking me to play the part of evil stepsister Minerva in a one-time only benefit performance of Cinderella, I quickly said no. It was my friend, violinist Robin Batteau, on the other end of the line. And he was calling from a small theater in Connecticut, where his neighbor Paul was putting on a night of entertainment to raise money for a summer camp. The centerpiece of the entertainment was a spoof of Cinderella, and Robin was the musical director. He just got word that the actress who was cast to play Minerva had to drop out. He needed me in Connecticut in 2 days, which my routing had me going through anyway. So there really was no reason why I couldn't do it. But I interrupted him, telling him I have 0 theater experience. I'm not the girl for the job. But Chris, Robin Batteau said, it's a benefit for Paul Newman's Hole-in-the-Wall gang camp for kids with cancer. Oh my God, how could I say no to that? Robin gave me the address of the 300-seat theater on the grounds of the camp and told me to be there at 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon for rehearsal. My friend Lois Dino was road managing that weekend, so I called her to let her know that we were going to have an extra stop on our journey. Robin left out a few details that we learned when we arrived. The script was co-written by Paul Newman. That was his neighbor, Paul, and A.E. Hotchner, and the evil stepmother was being played by Carole King. One of the evil stepsisters was Carol's daughter, Louise Goffin. The narrator of the play, I'm not kidding about this, was Joanne Woodward. The fairy godmother was Nathan Lane. The fairy godfather was Paul Newman. There were 2 princes fighting over Cinderella in this version of the show. One was Broadway star James Naughton, and the other was beloved actor Tony Randall. And Cinderella was being played by Julia Roberts. Tickets cost $1,000, and it was sold out. Now, before you get all excited on my behalf, try to imagine how I might have felt walking into this situation. I was starstruck and terrified. Well, Lois, Dino, and I arrived 5 minutes before the one and only rehearsal, so the stage manager thrust a script into my hands and told me to sit down on a bench next to Carole King and Louise Goffin. Joanne Woodward stood at a podium and explained to the audience what they were about to see, and all I remember hearing was the end when she said, "And here comes poor Cinderella. Her stepmother and stepsisters are so mean to her." That was Julia Roberts' cue to come crawling on her hands and knees across the stage. First, she polished Louise's shoes, then mine, and then she moved on to Carol. I couldn't help myself. Even though I had no lines in the scene, I leaned down, pointed at my right shoe, and I said, "You missed a spot." If you think I'm kidding, I have to show you this picture. Let's see. Can you see this? See, there's Julia Roberts, and there's me. And I'm telling her, you missed a spot. Oh, well, anyway. Without a word, Julia Roberts repolished my right shoe and then went on with the scene. I was so proud. I ad-libbed a line to Julia Roberts, and she ad-libbed a response. I'm an actress. Later on came my big moment. Joanne read, "Minerva is a singer and has dreams of going to Hollywood to become a big star." That was my cue to step forward with my guitar and sing the first verse of my song. What was I thinking? Then I sat down again. Later on, I had a scene with Tony Randall where he had all the women of the kingdom try on Cinderella's glass slipper, which in this version was a silver stiletto Manolo Blahnik. And also in this version of Cinderella, everything works out for everyone at the end. And Joanne read, And the fairy godmother takes Minerva to Hollywood, where she becomes a big singing sensation. At that, Nathan Lane took me by the arm and swept me off stage. There were a few more loose ends tied up. Cinderella and the cute prince, Jim Naughton, lived happily ever after. And then we all sang a song, an old-fashioned standard to which A.E. Hotchner had written some new lyrics to reflect this new Cinderella story. We gathered around the piano and were handed lyric sheets. I stood next to Nathan Lane, smiled at him, and told him I was a big fan. He said, "Thank you." Then we sang through the song a couple of times. Walking off stage, I said to him how nervous I was, how I had never been in a play before. He rolled his eyes and walked away. Uh-oh. Now, we were all assigned one of two large dressing rooms. The guys in one, the girls in the other. Yes, I was in a dressing room with Carole King, Louise Goffin, and Julia Roberts. Julia was in underwear. Thong underwear. Why does Julia Roberts wear thong underwear? Because she can. And she looks great. Since Minerva was supposed to be mean and nasty, I was given an ugly outfit to wear to make me look even worse. I still couldn't believe I was going to be in this play. I felt like I had stepped through the looking glass, and I was just praying I would get through the experience and not do anything that would ruin the play or Brook Batteau's reputation. I wondered how many people he called before he dialed me. Why did I say yes? The theater opened. The seats quickly filled. For the opening scene, I took my place on the bench next to Louise Goffin and Carole King. Joanne Woodward made her speech. Julia Roberts crawled across the floor and polished my shoes. I didn't ad-lib any lines this time. I was trying to be a professional. Later on, I got up and sang a verse of What Was I Thinking? It got very little reaction from the crowd, but that was okay. They had no idea who I was. The first verse does little more than set up the song, and on its own, it isn't very satisfying. I was just relieved that I remembered the lyrics and kept the plot moving. Later, Tony Randall tried the silver shoe on my foot, which he moved on to Louise Goffin's foot. I started to breathe easier. I had only one more thing to do. It was almost over. This wasn't so bad after all. I'm an actress. In the last scene, when everything works out, Joanne Woodward read, and the fairy godmother brings Minerva to Hollywood, where she becomes a big singing sensation. With that, I stood up smiling, waiting for Nathan Lane to sweep me off stage. I waited, and I waited. No Nathan. I waited some more. Joanne Woodward fumbled with her script and looked around. I looked around. Where was Nathan? What was I supposed to do? Dead silence. Joanne repeated the line a little slower and a little louder. And the fairy godmother brings Minerva to Hollywood, where she becomes a big singing sensation. I have no idea how much time ticked by. Maybe 10 seconds, but it felt like an eternity. Since I was supposed to go off into the wings, spirited away by my fairy godmother, I went to Plan B and started to spin myself there. So I stuck my arms out, and I started madly spinning, aiming for the opening near the back of the stage to my left. As I got closer and closer, I got dizzier and dizzier. I'm getting dizzy just as I type this. I don't know how dancers spot. I was just spinning like an idiot. Soon I was close enough to throw myself into the darkness, so that's what I did. I banged into a piece of furniture in the wings that fell with a big crash, and I heard the audience laughing. When I righted myself, who was standing in front of me holding a script and frowning? Paul Newman! What are you doing? He whispered. Making up your own lines? And who the hell are you? I said, Nathan, he was supposed to come get me. I whispered back, but he didn't come get me. I know what to do. I've never been in a play. I'm a stopped jabbering long enough because the lights finally came up. And we all had to go back on stage and sing the final song. I was so traumatized that I just moved my lips, closed my eyes, and pretended that I was invisible. Nathan Lane was there for the finale, but why had he left me hanging? I wanted to ask him what happened. There was a party following the play where audience and actors mingled. I saw Nathan dressed all in black, smiling and chatting with people. He looked happy and in a good mood. I was too scared to talk to him. Maybe I shouldn't have told him I had never been in a play. Maybe he didn't want to share a scene with a rookie. Maybe he was teaching me a lesson. Maybe that part was changed and nobody told me. I will never know. But I do know that if in your first play you share a dressing room and a stage with Julia Roberts, there is only one direction you could go from there. My theatrical career began, peaked, then crashed and burned all on the same night. The night I got yelled at by Paul Newman. By the way, the actress I was filling in for that night? Sarah Jessica Parker. Yeah, I'm always the first one you think of if she's busy.
Chris, I always think of you and Sarah Jessica Parker. Could we have another song? Would you mind sharing one more?
Oh my goodness. Well, you know what? Let me retune really quick. By the way, it's so great to see Cosy Sheridan. She's got a song that is going to be on a compilation I'm working on of all summer songs. And it's her song that she did the last time that she was at the Greenwich Village Folk Festival. And it's about rain. Because in the summertime, you know, everybody thinks it's going to be all songs about the sun and the ocean. But there's rain, and it's very, very necessary. And she wrote the most beautiful song about rain. And when I heard it, I asked her to send it to me. But I thought somebody was talking about, Cosy was talking about her dad. And I think this is a problem. I wrote this for the Guthrie Center in Great Barrington, Massachusetts. They asked every performer who worked there in 2012 to write a song that you think Woody Guthrie would be writing if he were alive today. And I thought, what's a problem that I have that Woody Guthrie would also have? And I think Cosy's dad would have too. Way back last century, I joined America Online. Had to come up with a password, something uniquely mine. I picked the word lightning. I have no idea why. Light is gonna be my password until the day I die. Whoop. Remember how it felt to have your first password become a member of the cyber generation, how proud we all were of ourselves? Then I opened an account with Amazon. They wanted a password too. So again, I picked the word lightning. There was a logical thing to do. Then I joined Facebook. They said a single word was not sufficient. They want both the letters and numbers to be safe and efficient. So I added number 52 to my word lightning. Light 852 is my Facebook password. My online skills are heightening. But then I read it's dangerous to use the same password everywhere. So I thought, okay, what's easy to remember and accompanies lightning? Up in the air. Thunder. That'll be my new password as I download iTunes. But they also want a number, Thunder 1 is what I picked that afternoon. Then I joined satellite radio, another password to create. What goes with lightning and thunder? Hail! That'll work just great. They said no, hail is too short a word, but hailstones, that works fine. I've already come a long way from lightning and obsolete America Online. Then I joined Gmail, lightning, thunder, hailstones, Twister. But they tell me that's a weak password, so I consult my little sister. Now, when you had computer trouble, you can't go to anybody older and wiser. Because guess what? There is nobody older and wiser. I know a woman whose 3-year-old helps her out when she's got trouble. So my sister said, how about the word hurricane? But add a number to make it secure. So Hurricane 53, let the bad guys get out of my door. So far so good, till the day Facebook let me know somebody hacked into my account. My old password has gotta go. Oh no, Lightning 52 became Lightning 53. But only for a couple of weeks, 'cause then my account got hacked again and my password needed tweaks. But Lightning 54 was rejected. They said it was way too close to Lightning 53. So I made a bold choice. Humidity 9, that's the new password for me. Now, everything was A-OK, till the day I let a friend use my laptop. She did something to my AOL account that brought her to a screeching stop. They said she emailed way too many people. My account got junked. I could reopen it in 24 hours, but my password was now defunct. So AOL gave me a new password, my zip code, and my initials. They said if I didn't like it, I could change it back to something more creative and less official. Well, I tried changing it back to Lightning. They said, nope, you gotta pick another word. So for whatever reason at that particular moment in time, Typhoon 56 is what I prefer. Lightning, Lightning 52, Thunder 1, okay. Hailstones here. This is the sing-along part. Weren't you paying attention? Hail, Lightning 53, Lightning 54. I'm starting to confuse myself. What are those the passwords for? Humidity 9, CL 10025. I think I'm starting to overloading my brain's external drive. Typhoon 56. I don't remember what that does. If only I could go back to the time when lightning was the only password I had to remember, the only password to memorize, the only password to open sesame, everything under digital skies. But the days of the single, simple password are ancient history. I'm gonna change my password too. I'm an old idiot. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Thank you. And now, Wanda Fisher.
And now, thank you, Christine. How are you doing? You still going a little bit crazy there? My kids laugh at me when I start to make up passwords. They think I'm crazy. But of course, their passwords aren't easy to figure out either, right? Right. Well, we have a duo who comes from the Woodstock area, and I'll tell you something. The last time I saw them at Cafe Lena in Saratoga Springs, they were just so full of energy and just got everybody rocking in the room. Professor Louie and Miss Marie, longtime performers and songwriting team, and they've recorded more than 100 songs together. And they have been inducted into the South Canadian Blues Hall of Fame, inducted into the Blues Hall of Fame, the New York chapter. And Louie received the Common Ground on the Hill Robert H. Chambers Award for Excellence in the Traditional Arts. So I would say that Walt Michael knows him well, and he plays dynamic piano, accordion, and he sings, and powerful singing, piano playing, and percussion by Miss Marie. They've worked with people such as the band, and Rick Danko, bass player and singer for the band, dubbed him Professor Louie due to the work done with them. They've also worked with Four Men and a Dog and the wonderful Guy Davis. And with their group Professor Louie and the Chromatics, they have recorded 16 CDs on the Woodstock Records label, and their new CD release, Strike Up the Band, has been on the Roots Music radio charts for most of this year, 2022. They have new 4-song EP, Rockin' Legacy Volume 1, slated to be released in early 2023 on the Woodstock Records label. And if you want to have a little energy boost, you don't need energy drinks. You've got Professor Louie and Miss Marie. Here they are.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Wanda. Nice introduction. Yeah, really appreciate it. And it's great to be here with everybody to hear the energy of original music. It's really nice to hear all the original music. So we're going to start off with a piece of music from a documentary that we have. We live in Hurley, New York, which is a very historical place, and where we've had a studio for about 30 years where a lot of people have recorded, is on a road called Hurley Mountain Road. The road is flat and it curves along. Why don't you lead me to the Hurley Mountain, high and high? If I come early, please show me around. Why don't you lead me to the Hurley Mountain, high and high? I want to hurry, want a hand to hold. Why don't you lead me to the Hurley Mountain, high and high? On the farm side, digging down 10 feet deep, you can measure there, spacing by 4 feet wide. That mountain's magic and magic on solid rock. It's got old-time mountain stories tell ya. Can't go round it, then there's cascades down the road where you can bare your soul. Why don't you lead me to the Hurley Mountain, high and high? Well, they look for buried treasures in that hallowed ground. Why don't you lead me to the Hurley Mountain, high and high? If I come early, please show me around. Why don't you lead me to the Hurley Mountain, high and high? People been digging down, planting vines for 100 years. You can follow their mountainside, all the tears. You can hear them open up their hearts. Solid rock, it's got old-time mountain stories tell ya. Can't go round it, then there's cascades down the road where you can check your bird. Why don't you lead me to the Hurley Mountain, high and high? Why don't you lead me to the Hurley Mountain, high and high? Well, the road is flat and it curves along. Why don't you lead me to the Hurley Mountain, high and high? If I come early, please show me around. Why don't you lead me to the Hurley Mountain, high and high? One steep mountain and the other side's a farm. Why don't you lead me to the Hurley Mountain, high and high? To the Hurley Mountain, high and high. If I mountain, high and high.
Yeah, all right.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. You know, we do have the new CD out, as we recorded that, new writings out, and we decided we would stay on the positive side of life as much as possible. You know, so here we got one good one. Good to be grateful, because we really are very good to be here and grateful for everything that's happened to us. Well, it's good to be grateful, life full of dreams. Music's my maker, creating my scene. Like Van Lee, Rick, and Bobby too. On sweet old feeling, just rocking with you. So good to be grateful, big old world. Good to be grateful, 'cause I'm your girl. Yeah, good to be grateful. Kiss to the sky, rocking and rolling by the riverside. Well, sweet soul music, move your feet. We're all dancing to the crazy beat. Like yourself, ring your bell. A swing with soiree, just kiss and tell. So it's good to be grateful in this big old world. Good to be grateful, 'cause I'm your girl. Yeah, good to be grateful. Kiss to the sky, rocking and rolling by the riverside. Yes, sweet soul music, move your feet. We're all dancing to the crazy beat. Like yourself, ring your bell. A swinging soiree, just kiss and tell. So good to be grateful in this big old world. Good to be grateful, 'cause I'm your girl. Good to be grateful. Kiss to the sky, rocking and rolling by the riverside. Good to be grateful. Take one. Good to be grateful. Take three. Good to be grateful. Kiss to the sky. Good to be grateful by the riverside. Whoa, by the river. Good to be grateful. Yeah, good to be grateful by the riverside. Working on short songs. Well, here's one, since we got the holiday season coming up, and we wrote this song years ago with a good friend of ours from Four Men and a Dog, which had a chance to produce 3 or 4 albums with those guys, and been to Ireland with them many times. There's nobody better. But they have a great songwriter, Kevin Doherty, in that group, and we put a song together right around this same time a few years ago, called Santa Loves to Boogie. Santa loves the boogie and he loves the boogie all night long. Santa loves the boogie and he loves the boogie all night long. But I love my Santa when his boogie shoes is on. He says he likes our style, I tell him we've been good. He says he likes our style, I tell him we've been good. Well, now Santa's watching just the way he should. Santa loves the boogie and he loves the boogie all night long. Santa loves the boogie and he loves the boogie all night long. And I love my Santa when his boogie shoes is on. We ain't got no dough, we got no place to go. But I love my Santa when he starts to boogie down real slow. But now Santa loves the boogie and he loves the boogie all night long. Yeah, Santa loves the boogie and he loves the boogie all night long. Well, I love my Santa when his boogie shoes on. Boots back on your feet. I love you, Santa, but there's no time to sleep. You rock my roll, you roll my rock, but you better get me off. Back on the go, go, go. Hey, all night long. Well, I love my Santa when his boogie shoes on. This is the sing-along part. Santa loves the boogie and he loves the boogie all night long. Santa loves the boogie and he loves the boogie all night long. But I love my Santa when his boogie shoes is on. Here's one loud one for you. Well, now Santa loves the boogie and he loves the boogie all night long. Santa loves the boogie and he loves the boogie all night long. Well, I love my Santa when his boogie shoes is on. Oh, Santa!
Now, before you go, would you happen to have one more for us that you could do?
Well, we'd be happy to do it. Thanks so much.
We'd be happy if you could do that for us.
Okay, no problems at all. I want to thank everybody out there listening and watching the show too. Hope Alan Pepper is out there, Christine. That would be great.
Hi, Alan.
We used to work out for him all the time.
Yep.
Well, here's one that it's a good, and it's got a good name down there in Common Ground. We always play it together and sing it together. Open hand, open heart. You got to help all the neighbors out and everybody out as much as possible. Open up your hand, open up your heart, open up your hand, open up your heart. When you're losing, playing the fool, try to remember just to keep your cool. With an open hand, an open heart. Lost your way in the night. Look around, try to find your sight. With an open hand, an open heart. Open up your hand, open up your heart. Open up your hand, open up your heart. Feeling lost and close to the end, reach for the top, start all over again. With an open hand, an open heart. Lost your way in the night. Look around, try to find your sight. With an open hand, an open heart. Feeling lost and close to the end. Reach for the start all over again with an open hand and open heart. Let the horse go away in the night now and look around, try to find your sight with an open hand, an open heart. Open up your hand, open up your heart, open up your hand, open up your heart. Bring light to a soul in the dark. Bring light to a soul in the dark. Bring light to a soul in the dark.
Woo! Great way to
right.
end. Yeah.
Thank you so much. You know, I have to say, I got to appreciate Greg and everybody helping out with the sound because these guys really cared, and it was nice to have such long sound checks to check things out. So thank you guys so much.
Oh, and thank you so much. What a great night, and what a way to end our evening. Wow, Wanda, has this been something else or what?
This really has been a lot of fun. I hope everybody, I had a little dog that's kind of ill and he kept coming in here and he was crying and I kept saying, oh, I hope this doesn't go over the air. But, and so I was a little nervous about that, but it didn't happen. And everybody was great and everybody was just played some incredible music. I'm just so glad that I was here tonight with you, Ron.
Oh, I'm so glad you were here too. It was such a treat to be with you, as it always is. And I hope you'll be back again really soon because this was a lot of fun working with you.
It was a lot of fun. And do we know what's coming up the next time around? Do we have any idea of
Yes,
that?
we do. Before I get to that, I do want to thank everybody that's been here tonight. We started back at 7 o'clock with Shanna In A Dress, and then Walt Michael, Brook Batteau, who is filling in for Robin Batteau, who's has a little laryngitis. We hope he feels better and he'll be back again soon. James Keelaghan, Natalia,
yeah.
Dan Navarro, Joe Crookston, Cosy Sheridan, Christine Lavin, who also is filling in for Malcolm Holcomb. We had some technical problems. We couldn't get to Malcolm tonight, but hopefully in the future. And of course, we just ended with Professor Louie. Now, I am so excited to announce this. Our next show will be on January 1st, which is, again, the first Sunday of the month, like we do every first Sunday. And we're going to celebrate New Year's Day with a Tom Paxton birthday party. Tom will be turning he did turn 85 this past October, and we're going to celebrate with a live performance and birthday greetings from people like Holly Neer, Kathy Matea, Cliff Eberhardt, Amanda McBroom, John McCutcheon, Judy Collins, Kathy Fink and Marcy Markser, and Tim Grimm. And there's some more to come, and of course it's always subject to change. And then for those of you looking forward, on February the 5th, we're going to be doing an afternoon show. Now, it seems the past couple of years since we started this, Super Bowl Sunday seemed to fall on the first Sunday of the month, but this year there's no Super Bowl, but we've decided we're going to keep the tradition going. So we're going to have a show on Sunday, February 5th from 3 to 6 p.m. And I can't really name all the names yet because we're still working on the lineup, but because it's at an earlier hour, we're going to have some guests from overseas who will be able to join us at a decent hour, so that'll be fun. And looking ahead, we've got plans for all 2023. In fact, on October the 1st, we're going to be holding the 40th anniversary of the Phil Oaks Song Nights with Sunny Oaks. And it's going to be similar to some of the other Phil Oaks shows we've done, an all-star cast. And of course, every Sunday, the first Sunday of the month, we'll be here. And again, it's thanks to everyone who's been making donations to our tip jar. I know times are tough. I know the holiday season is rough, but you folks are not only supporting this festival and helping us have the money to carry this on, but also supporting the artists because it is divided among the artists that are appearing here. And we thank you for your support for this and for keeping this going. And we'll be here as long as you want us.
That sounds great. Thank you so much, Ron. And thanks so much to the tech people.
Yes.
They just did an incredible job. And thanks to Brandon and Greg. And
Right.
I just hope that that they realize how much we appreciate what they did.
That's right. Brandon O'Sullivan, Greg Greenway, and of course, Rod MacDonald and Ray Mysick and Andrea and everybody who's been involved with this. You folks, well, it's been great. Thank you, Wanda. Good being with you again. And hope you have a wonderful holiday season. And,
Thank you, Ron. Same to you. And we'll be back again, I assume.
That's right. Okay, everybody. Have a great holiday. See you on January 1st. Be there.
Thanks, everybody.
Good night, everyone.